that we realize and we imagine that, wow, this thing is real.
It's real.
There are mothers and fathers and siblings and sisters and children involved in the agony and the trauma. And, you know, for me, we had to do something. You know, a couple of years ago, we had what we call the 0703 healing, which was the first time ever in Nigeria was telephone counseling. It was a partnership with MTN that we had, and it was an eye opener. Joke and myself can now say were the counselors because we never gave out our names. We had a telephone and we had 24 hours counseling, and one
24 hours.
Yes.
Believe it. I remember my husband said, "Put that phone outside. I want to sleep. Put it on your
And it was incredible because what we discovered shocked us. 70% of the people that called us were men.
Yeah.
And 70% of the men came from the north.
Yeah.
And they were young men.
Yeah.
Now, they had issues. And they loved the anonymity because sometimes they would say, can I say what I really want to say? Yes. Nobody's going to, you know, they loved the anonymity of it. And what came out of their minds, it was clear that the young people in the north had issues. And they didn't have anybody to talk to about it. And we discovered that, unlike what Nigerians imagine, at Christmas there were a lot of people that were suicidal. Or we had a whole, the phones went off the radar at Christmas time. And suicide, Great Depression. I mean, if somebody said, if I hear that word, you know, jingle bells one more time, I'll jump. I mean, what is it that I have to be happy about? So there's a lot of Nigerians in terrible pain and in terrible need. What we want to achieve with this symposium, which we're bringing, you know, to federal and a global level, is to set up a framework, and who does what.
Okay.
I mean, a disaster happened. What happens next? We're not. I mean, we are very much confident with the you know, determination that the present government has put in the military fight, but we want to support the people in a systematic matter. Who does what next, and how?
I think that's important because every time we see a disaster, we see lots of agencies present. But what they're doing, I mean, watching on TV, what they're doing doesn't look coordinated.
But absolutely not.
Everyone is just seeming to be running all over the place. You know,
we want to set up a framework. Sorry.
So you want to set up what each person is supposed to do in case.
Yes. A framework on how we manage the disasters and who does what and how the psychological counseling is affected. We're hoping
thereafter,
we're hoping that this framework will become, and it's not just a talk. One day, and we've got all the major stakeholders involved, and that, you know, we're going to check ourselves what we've achieved in 3 months' time. We're going to come back in 6 months' time. We're going to review this whole program in 1 year's time. This is meant, and it will be, a change agent.
So after how many months do you expect to have the framework ready to be implemented? Well, you talked about checking after 3 months and after 6 months.
Well, you know, because they're going to be workshop, they're going to be breakout sessions, you know, during the symposium and all that. So we should be able to come out with something.
Yes.
After that one day, we should be able to come up with something. And then that is what we're going to review again in 3 months. And then, you know, with whatever needs to be corrected, then we will review it again in 6 months, then review it again in a year.
A work in progress.
Yes, it's a work in progress.
What's
So
the date?
hopefully, the date is on the 15th of October in Abuja.
Okay.
Yes.
In Abuja. Mrs. Taiwo talked about the role of the agencies, what the agencies are supposed to do.
Yes.
Would that also include what the citizens who are not part of these agencies, what they are supposed to do in that kind of situation?
Yes. That's going to be quite a key area. That it's going to be part of the breakout sessions that we're going to that we'll discuss. Because you see, the thing is this. There's something about us as a people. We're very resilient. We're also very reticent about a lot of things. And we don't realize that it's not only the army that will solve some of the problems that we have on hand. We ourselves as citizens must contribute our own quota. So apart from what we are trying to do in grief counseling, but what have you noticed about the people around you? What are people, what suspicions do you have? There are a lot of announcements on radio telling people to come forward. But one of the things we're going to also look at is that what strategies, because people are scared. If I come forward now, who is watching? Who is seeing that I'm the one who has come forward? So things like that, we're going to look at, what kind of strategies are we going to give to people to help, to make it easier for them to whistleblow.
Yes, and I envisage that after all this, there's going to be a massive publicity campaign, especially regarding the part about the people. Because sometimes some disaster happens, and you guys don't even have access because of those who are standing by watching.
Drama.
Yes, that's
not knowing what they can do to help.
Yes.
So do I foresee that...
this is what, frankly, I'm praying, and we're hoping happens, after that symposium. Number one, we put together key stakeholders: the military, NEMA, the Red Cross, NGOs, and we're going to come together in that symposium to look at who does what, the effect psychologically of trauma, how the social support we're going to give, what happened. So basically we set up a framework, and we will implement that framework. We'll come out of that symposium with a framework that is publicized, and we have government involved, right? So we have an agenda, on what happens when these things happen, how the role of the private sector, the role of Aart of Life and other organizations, the role of government, so that, as you said, it's not all scattered. We envisage that, from our experience in what has happened in what we just touched the water, our feet on, in telephone counseling, will become, I'm hoping, that all the GSMs will be forced to give out phones for grief counseling. Because imagine that somebody who's in Yola, because now telephone use is not, I love that advert they had a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Mama, whatever, where you can order phone. So it's not something that you need to be sophisticated to use.
Okay. Okay, Mr. We're almost out of time. Who's invited to this symposium?
Who's invited to this symposium?
It's everybody.
Yes, it's in
public
Abuja.
thing. Yes, it's in Abuja. So if you're in Abuja, do call me along. If you're interested in, and you feel that you can contribute, and of course all the other governmental agencies that have already been invited. Anyway,
right.
Yeah.
I want to thank you so much for speaking with us. If you want to find out more about the symposium on the 15th of October happening in Abuja, just go to the Aart of Life Foundation website. It's www.aartoflife, that's aartoflife.org. You get all the information there. It's happening on the 15th and it's happening in Abuja. Thank you so much, Chief Mrs. Taiwo, founder and chairman of Aart of Life Foundation.
Thank you.
And veteran actress, vice chairman of Aart of Life, Mrs. Joke Jacobs. Joke Silva. Okay. Thank you so much for speaking with us. We look forward to that symposium.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sunrise will be back in a moment. Don't go away.